All right, so there's a saying in statistics and science that correlation does not imply causation. That's a phrase used in science and statistics to emphasize that a correlation between two variables does not necessarily not necessarily imply that one causes the other. So, for example, every person who learned math in the 17th century is dead. However, despite what some of you may think, learning math does not necessarily cause death. Now, correlations can help us search for cause and effect, but causality is not the only explanation for a correlation. So, for another example, children with bigger feet tend to read better than children with smaller feet, but bigger feet will not cause a child to be a better reader. In this case, there is an underlying cause, that children with bigger feet also tend to be older and have been in school longer. For another example, the more firemen fighting a fire, the bigger the fire is observed to be. However, more firemen does not cause the fire to increase. It's actually more the other way around. So anyway, there are three possible explanations when you see a correlation. It could just be the correlation is a coincidence. I mean, there's millions upon millions upon millions of variables out there. Just by random chance, some of them will look correlated. In fact, many of them will. Another explanation is that both variables might be directly influenced by some common underlying cause. That is, there's a third variable that's causing what you're seeing. Or it could be that one of your variables is correlated with the other, that one is causing the other. But even in the case where you can talk about causation, it may only be just one of several causes. So let's go through each one of these. Coincidence. A coincidence is the sequence of events that, although accidental, seem to have been planned, arranged, or correlated. So, for a couple examples, as the amount of cheese consumed per capita has increased, so has the number of people who have died from being tangled in their bed sheets. Another one, the age of Miss America correlates with the number of murders by steam, hot vapors, and hot objects. Really, one has nothing to do with the other, but they just, at least, they appear to be somewhat correlated for whatever reason. If you want to see a bunch more of these, there's a website called Spurious Correlations. It has a bunch. It even has a book if you want to buy one. But like U.S. spending on science, space, and technology correlates with suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation. You see the correlation is 99.79%. So correlation is 0.99789. Almost perfect. Okay. Anyway, underlying cause. An underlying cause sometimes referred to as a lurking variable or a confounding factor. This is an overlooked variable that is causing a sequence of events to seem correlated. So, some examples of those. Ice cream sales reflect the number of shark attacks in swimmers. And that's the underlying cause is seasonal. That is, ice cream sales and shark attacks are both higher in the summer and are both lower in the winter. Another one, sleeping with one's shoes on is strongly correlated with waking up with a headache. That one is, the underlying cause there would be alcohol. Okay. We say one event causes a second event when a second event is a consequence of the first. So, some examples of those. Flossing regularly reduces gingivitis. And warmer temperatures cause crickets to chirp more often. We'll talk about that one more in the next lesson. Alright, so let's try to come up with some explanations for each of these. When I exercise regularly, I tend to lose weight. So there's a correlation. This would seem to be causation. Cities with more homicides also tend to have more churches. It may seem like a coincidence, but this would be a lurking variable. And that is, it's not accounting for the population size. Larger cities will have more homicides and will have more churches just from having more people. Smaller cities will have less of each. As the number of people who drowned after falling out of a fishing boat has decreased, so has the marriage rate in Kentucky. I would hope that's coincidence.